Hi friends, I hope everyone are safe. Let's talk about what is Azure Automation Accounts and how do we use Azure Automation Accounts to make our daily lives easier. And then we'll create and run a Hello World runbook inside an Azure Automation Accounts, and we'll delete all the resource groups in that subscription. So you can find my scripts in this Git repository. You can either clone it or you can fork the repository to create your own Git repository. You can find the fork here. So before I jump into the script, please subscribe to my channel, and you can always leave the feedback in the comment section, and you can request for specific demos and I'll definitely come up with a video on it in 1 to 2 weeks. So let's go jump into the Azure Automation Accounts. So what is an Azure Automation Account? It's a place where we'll go and deploy our code into the Azure. So in fact, if at all you're writing a PowerShell script, and it was meant to create delete all the resource groups in your Azure every day. You don't want it to be running in your local machine every day, so it's better you actually keep that PowerShell script in the Azure, and it will take care of that. So Azure Automation Account is in fact designed for that purpose, where you deploy your code in Azure and Azure actually will take care of it. So let's jump into it. So here I'm selecting East US, and if at all you see here, create Azure run as account. So what does it define is this Azure automation account is an actually API. Let me go ahead and create. So this Azure automation account is an API, and it has to, if at all your script wants to interact with this Azure account of yours, it has to interact with Azure API. So of your portal. So this is that is the reason why we selected yes, so that it is gonna create a certificate which will authenticate your portal account with that particular automation account which we have created. So in the script, I'll actually explain in more detail about it. So the deployment got succeeded. Let's go to that particular resource. Now, if you see in the Azure automation accounts, which has been created in the resource group RG East US, you can actually create runbooks, which are nothing but the scripts where you can run it. So there are different types of runbooks which you can create. So you can actually go with Python, PowerShell, and PowerShell workflow is also having its own advantages. When you wanted to run your PowerShell script, you have to import the necessary modules, which you can find it from here. So if you wanted aged accounts or aged resources, if you click on here and if you import it, those modules will get imported automatically. So I'll just import Azure resources also. If you see, it is asking here that this module needs a dependency that is aged accounts, and which right now we just have imported it. Probably it's going to take certain time. So I'm just importing the Azure resources. So you can find your modules, whatever been installed or imported in this Azure automation accounts will be there in the module section. You see az.resources and az.accounts. And also if you can see the connections, so we have in fact created a connection, which this is the one, run as connection. We'll see there is an application ID which has been created, a tenant ID and a certificate thumbprint and a subscription ID. So what it is saying is this is this API, the automation account will in fact can connect to your Azure account using this certificate. So here we gave the what is the subscription ID and the tenant ID and everything. So through that, your this automation account will be able to connect to your accounts, and it will pull the data or whatever it has to done the necessary operations. So let's go and create a Hello World runbook. So I'll just select it as PowerShell. I'm creating a runbook. So the runbook has been created. So here is the Hello World program which I will be copying and pasting it there. Save. Before we run it, let's understand this. So this scripts is actually there in this is an automation account which is there in the resource group which I have created. And when you get into that particular automation account, you can find the runbooks under this runbook section. And here we went to the hello world script. Okay, we just didn't publish it yet. So when you publish it, you can actually in fact view it. So let me explain the script before I running it. So here, as I mentioned, first I will be running the connection. So if you see the connections, so run as connection is the one which will be connecting our this API to the Azure, your Azure account. So what am I doing? I'm calling those run as connection, and I'm saying it's a service principle end of the day. So I call that particular one using the get automation connection, and I'll actually connect to the AZ account of ours. Yeah, this is the connect hyphen AZ account. So where we'll use the parameters hyphen service principal and hyphen tenant ID, where we can get the tenant ID from this particular service principal connection. So as I showed you, what does this service connection which will have, it will have the application ID and tenant ID. So I'm actually calling all those, and using those I'm connecting to the AZ account. So this is one way to connect to AZ account, and after that I'm actually keeping that in a try clash block. So if at all there is a failure in the connection, and there's an error, it is gonna catch and gonna say that the connection to that particular Azure account has been failed, and it will show the exception message. So if at all it has passed, then it will jump to this and it will print out hello world. So even we can actually write the Azure account, we can actually keep it like a get hyphen az resource group. So it will actually pull what all resource groups which are there to the connected Azure account. So let's run this. We go to the run books. There we go to the hello world script, and there we go edit. We save it, and then we publish it. Now let's start the script. You can see the output in the output section. So we got the output. It has printed hello world, and it gave the resource groups, what all resource groups which are there. So there are 4 resource groups, and that 4 resource groups are been mentioned. So we have in fact ran a hello world program. So let's get to the script of how do we delete all the resource groups. So the same way as in the previous hello world program, I have to first connect to the Azure account of ours. So using the service principal connection which has been created, I am pulling the tenant ID and the application ID and the certificate thumbprint, and I'm able to connect to the Azure account of ours. And after that, I'll get a list of resource groups using the command get hyphen az resource group. And I'm saying here that take all the resource groups except RG East US, because under the RG hyphen East US, the automation account has been created. So I don't want the script to delete the automation account. So I'm just taking the list except that resource group. And after that, I'm just wanted to print the whatever the resource groups which are there. So it's gonna print all the resource groups, and then for each resource group I'm actually gonna remove each resource group, and I'm running it that command as a job. So what happens when we run it as a job? So it doesn't wait till the resource group gets deleted. It will just create another PowerShell session to actually remove this resource group. So it will actually say what is the job ID which has been assigned to delete the resource group, and it will wait for 2 seconds, and again it will run to delete another resource group. So that's till whatever how many list resource groups are there, this loop it gets executed. And after that, I'm just requesting to say that for each jobs, how many jobs which are being created, you wait till each job ID which has been completed, and say mention me if at all it has been completed. Otherwise, if it is failed, just let me know if that it is failed. So through that way, and we can get the output. So I'm asking for what is the output. if at all it's been completed. So let's run this. So I'll create one script which I'll name it as delete rg, and I will select as runbook as PowerShell. Let's save it and let's publish it. So now let's run this runbook. So guys, remember it that the runbooks can run only if you are able to import the modules and the if at all the connection has been set up. We can find the output in the output section. If you see, I'm just refreshing it. So still the script is running behind. So the list of resource groups other than RG East US is network watcher RG and RG1 and RG2. So it is first going and deleting network watcher RG1, and it has assigned a job ID 1 to remove that. Then it is going to RG1 and it has assigned a job ID 2 to delete the RG1. The similarly job ID 3 for deleting the RG2. Now if you see, we got the status of the job IDs. Here it is showing as job ID job which is having ID 1 is completed. So this is how we can actually delete all the resource groups in that particular subscription. So everything, the script has actually been uploaded into the GitHub repository and you can find it. So thank you guys. Let me know the feedback in the comment section.